Welcome to Media Park Live with your host for today, Christian Langbridge.
Oh, so day 3, welcome to the show. It's now 3 o'clock. Everyone's shoulders are a little bit slooped. Everyone's a bit more tired today after 3 days of interviews, meetings, and general fun. So we've got a jam-packed group today. We're going to be talking to Joachim Bergman, Senior Vice President, Cloud Services at Amino Communications shortly. Wilbert Koy from the General Manager, Riedel Communications, to talk about their products. Steve Plunkett and Georg will be back to talk about artificial intelligence. And then we're going to finish with Chris Van Dam from Panasonic to talk about what he's up to at IBC. So Joachim, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Good to have you here. Why don't you tell us a bit about Amino generally? What does Amino do?
So Amino is the, I would say, the pioneer in IPTV and founder of the set-top box for IPTV, 1997, and it's based out of Cambridge in the UK, but really a global company, 250 employees, and then also listed on the LSE AIM, so we are a publicly traded company. Really 3 main things we do. One is, of course, what we're probably most known for is the IPTV or the devices that we sell. And then also software. So we have most of our engineers, they actually are software engineers. So even though they seem like a set-top box company, it's actually a software company, kind of trapped in a box, if you will. So I look after the software business, and we have Amino TV, which is our new pay TV platform proposition that we have made quite good progress on, and it's actually based upon an acquisition that Amino made in 2015.
And 1997 as a starting point, lots has changed since then and now. What have been the main drivers for change over that period, from your perspective in Amino's history?
Well, I think Amino always tried to be a software company, but it's very difficult to kind of display any IP or any sort of streaming 20 years ago. So they had to make a device. But, the whole intrinsic DNA of the company is still, IP and the pioneer in IP. And actually the market is coming to us. Where our sort of challenge and where we're going is really try to see how we can sort of unbundle that one and actually grow and also see that we can work more collaboratively across the whole industry space.
Is that changing that level of collaboration? Do you need more collaboration with industry partners these days than you did before?
Well, as you see, there's also a lot of these connected devices out there and all these ecosystems. And we make a big investment into Android TV. So we partner with Google, and we see that, rather than sort of fighting these ecosystems, we actually embrace it. And we have made a big bet on Android TV in terms of, because that's one of the devices, but also the end-to-end solution we can provide together on the Google ecosystem.
And tell us a bit then about Amino TV. Is that built on Android TV?
So Android is, a flavor of Amino TV. So you can have the sort of traditional HTML or Linux-based set-top boxes, and then, of course, all the connected devices. Or you can choose to go Android TV if you like. We have a few customers that have chosen to go Android TV, mainly because of the flexibility that the platform provides, but also the IoT and sort of the voice control and so on, the effects that you can get from Android TV. And all the future development that Google does, you kind of get as part of being part of that ecosystem.
And it's not a consumer device in the sense that you could go to the shops and just buy an Amino TV.
So you can and you cannot. Android TV comes in 2 types of flavors. You can buy these sort of things in the shops, which is the open Android boxes, and from that you can of course load an app, and that might be an operator branded Amino TV app. Or you can choose to have a managed Android box, which is the operator tier Android. And the benefit of doing that is, of course, the operator gets the full control. Also, from a consumer point of view, they get something where they can have one number to call. So if something breaks and you have these OTT devices like a Roku and so on, you're on your own. If something breaks, everybody points fingers and you don't really know who to call and who's supposed to do that. And as part of our devices and solutions, we also provide tooling where the operator then can do remote diagnostics, software updates, and see actually what the consumer sees if there's any problems.
When you buy into a set-top box type of product, then you're there for the long haul, aren't you? Because, of course, once your product's out with your consumers, with your customers, you need to maintain that environment over a long period of time.
True. And I think yeah, traditionally, when you have pay TV platforms, you didn't really make any upgrades, over 3, 4, 5 years. If for DNA, for instance, in Finland, we made, I think last year we made over 50 releases, which is very new. And that Android TV really enables you to go faster and also be more current. Consumers today expect change. They expect things UI to be different and things to change and be more so on. So that's more on the, I would say that an Android TV kind of device now is like any consumer device, but still having the possibility to do that in a controlled way.
And one of the the big key trends that are coming out now around 4K, ultra high definition, and 8K. Does that require a whole new set of devices with a different capability, or is it something you can easily port in?
So Google actually requires you to be 4K ready. So if you want to be certified for Android, that's kind of table stakes. Now 8K, let's see what the Olympics in 2022 bring, whether we will have 8K. First of all, I'd like to see 4K a little bit more widely deployed before we discuss 8K.
Yeah, and are there other trends that are going on other than increasing video quality that you think are important when it comes to the choice in set-top box?
Well, I'm not set-top box in general. We look at it as like a complete experience. What's really nice is that we have these devices out there which are a little bit more current, if you will, which can be more flexible. And you have, for instance, voice control, that you get with Android TV. It's a new thing, and it hasn't really been a big thing in Europe yet. But if you look at, for instance, Comcast X1, over 50% of the users that take that actually use voice control. And we believe that that's going to be a big thing going forward, is the enablement of voice and what you can do in the home, not only with your TV, but in general with voice control. People have Alexas at home and Google Assistant. So we think that's one thing. The other thing we see, and also something that is going to happen, is that when you have so much content, how to actually find something you want to watch. And this sort of AI-based curation and display for people that generally becomes paralysis by analysis because it's just so much to potentially watch. So have the machine, or let's say the platform, provide you with interesting things to watch. Or even just with the playlist, where it dynamically changes as you go along with different type of breaks. Maybe you like Ozark, as I do now. I watch Netflix, the Ozark series. But maybe it wants to break for the game that starts at 7. And having much more of a, let's say, assisted viewing, if you will.
And how much now do you see boxes and technology supporting cross-platform searches? So, for example, my understanding of how it works within an Apple TV environment is that if you search within the Apple TV environment, you don't get the content that may be available on another environment like Amazon or Netflix.
So that's exactly what Android TV enables you to basically get this federated search. So you can get that, and we'd like to take that a step further, because that doesn't really get everything. So we're still thinking about the idea, well, where there's no, let's say for the non-tech, well, for the tech users out there, where there's no metadata for let's say it's all your recordings and so on. How can you enable still search and curation of all potential recordings that you have done? We have customers such as DNA that have 4,000 hours of cloud DVR space, and people just record stuff, but they rarely watch it. But they could, but they just don't know that they recorded it. So how do you curate and create a better user experience for stuff that is there?
Now, one of the themes that we've been talking about on this show repeatedly has been about diversity in the engineering teams themselves. So from your perspective in running the software group within Amino, what's the kind of mix of men to women, for example? Do you think it's diverse enough? Is there more you could do?
It's definitely not diverse enough. Our diversity comes from basically nationalities. We really have not been successful in having that many women in our engineering teams. And I think it's largely also because of women in tech is still not so dominant. But what we do have is that we have, out of the 35 software engineers we have, with 13 nationalities in Helsinki, which is, I would say, quite novel. Because it's not, you don't go to Helsinki to live for the weather.
Yeah, and I've heard. But I've heard that different perspectives and different environments really help teams build empathy with each other. and that if you're too locked into a specific demographic group, teams can't perform as well as they should do. So do you think about remote teams as well, or is it tend to bring them all together in one place?
So that's actually one of the changes that we have done, is that we have brought them together. I'm a big believer of being able to show what you do and actually have communication under the same roof. We're small enough and fortunate enough to be able to do that. But we also have then very diverse teams in terms of culture. So we have people from Vietnam, France, Spain, Morocco, Pakistan, Poland, Romania, Uzbekistan, and I think that's our sort of strength.
Where we can seeing the benefits of that now in the quality of work and the throughput and productivity.
I would say more in terms of energy and also in terms of how easy we can onboard new people from anywhere of the world, because it's such a diverse kind of own unique culture.
That's great. Now, I know you've been busy on your stand. What would you say are the kind of big things on the stand to come and see this year? What would you really, if someone was going to say, all right, I want to go to the Amino stand, what would you say? Go and ask about this.
So it depends a little bit what your problems are. And if you look for something new, Android TV is of course something which is hot. We have a lot of really good knowledge about what it takes to deploy, because we have been fortunate enough to work with DNA, which we're early out with it. So that's one topic, to actually see what does it take, what are the learnings, what are sort of the problems that we've had, and so on. In general, sort of where is it going. The second thing is that, let's say you're thinking about maybe rejuvenating and you sit with a big legacy. How are you supposed to untangle that legacy of your pay TV environment and still be able to do some kind of transformation in a cost-efficient way? We have a lot of tools to enable that, so we don't have to so that's a CFO conversation. We're very friendly to the balance sheet in terms of what we can rejuvenate in terms of assets in the homes and so on.
Okay, great. Well, look, thanks for coming on board. We're out of time now. Thanks for joining the show.
Thank you.
Joachim Bergman, have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you.